Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Occult Perspectives. So, we've reached over 500 subscribers. That's incredible. I think we have maybe 504 or 505 subscribers now, so it's continuing to grow. That's amazing. So, this particular video, I have plenty more notes I want to get through, a lot more material to cover, and that will be coming eventually. This particular video is more of an update video, just kind of letting you know what's been going on in my life and why I haven't been doing as many videos, as well as there is a topic I do want to touch on. And it's a pretty important topic. It's kind of a touchy subject, so we'll get into it just a little bit. We'll touch the waters, and then we'll see how far we want to dive from there. So I just currently got off of work today. I worked 8 hours and 30 minutes, so 8.5 hours today, which normally I would work 8 hours anyway, but I stayed over a little bit to help out. I know that I don't have to, but I have a really good manager in my department that I work. I work the click list at Kroger, so I'm shopping for groceries most of the day. Sometimes they have me in frozen now, but stocking frozen foods. But that is my muggle job. That's what I do for, quote, a living. So I'm kind of curious. I want to know what all of you do for a living. I want to know what you have to do to make ends meet in this physical world. It's such a weird place we live in. Anyone who's subscribed to this channel, in my opinion, you are chosen people. We are people who are conscious. We are aware. There are so many people out there just mechanically functioning, and they're not thinking. They don't know of these higher powers. They're obviously, everything's connected as above, so below, but they're not conscious of those connections, so they're being moved unconsciously through their reality. And while we are not perfect, those of us who study esotericism or are practicing occultists, we're just aware of a lot more, which can be frustrating. So this whole New Age spirituality idea of that being spiritual means being nice, it's kind of misleading. And I think the whole New Age agenda is kind of part of the dumbing down. They're turning the spirituality not into, a genuine, thorough, deep, rich treasure of knowledge. It's become kind of more of this just loosely based love everybody, and it's very simple, but it's not the same. If you want to get simple and you want to get profound still, go to the Buddhist teachings and go to some of the Paranta Yoga or something like that. It's a very important book, and I started listening to an audio recording. They mentioned something about it. We just hit 333. That was nice. They mentioned something about it in a book I'm almost done reading. I've got just a couple pages left. The Secret History of the World. I highly recommend that book, but they mention it in that book as well. A lot of the Eastern teachings are simple, like the Taoism and all that. It's not involved rigorously, with rituals and such as like Western ceremonial magic. But I think each of those traditions all have their truth. And kind of the whole New Age thing is just, I don't know, it's a weird kind of movement. And they're not all bad people. I just don't think the depth of their understanding is as deep. So I wanted to kind of get that out of the way real quick. But yeah, I wonder what you all do for a living. Kind of that whole, fake spirituality. Kind of the whole like free love and share the love, kind of that whole concept. Yes, while love is boundless, there's still limits and limitations that need to be placed on things, and that's where the planet, of course, Saturn comes in. That influence, and Saturn's the boss of the planets. You know, you have to ascend through the 7 spheres, ascend the tree of life before you get to Kether, and then of course the Ein Sof Or, the Ein Sof, and the Ein, which are the 3 layers above the tree, the Empyrean heaven, which rests above the Kabbalistic tree. This video is going to be kind of all over the place because I didn't write any notes. This is just me kind of rambling on about some things. I felt called to do a video. Like I said, I just got off of work. I haven't done any meditations or anything. I did do a Kabbalistic cross. I did a relaxation ritual and a Kabbalistic cross before work this morning and yesterday. And I noticed yesterday it did make my day go much smoother. And I'm sure it helped today too. I probably would have had a rougher day than it was today if not for that, perhaps. I think a lot of those small things, excuse my cough too. I've had a cough going on for about 2 weeks now, at least. So it's been getting a lot better. It is not as bad of a cough as it was. Here in Ohio, in the States, the temperature is fluctuating up and down a lot. So we've got, you know, there's that going on, and then there is actual sickness going around. It's the changing of the months, you know. We're getting into Christmas time soon already. So, yep, it's been an interesting ride. Just trying to find the free time between, you know, work. I've been picking up hours to kind of make, you know, help make ends meet. I was working about 30 hours a week, but now I'm, well, between 25 and 30. And now I work 32, at least this week, last week, and I will be next week, which isn't quite full time. I used to work 40 hours back in the day, and it's a lot every week. People who are in the workforce who just work and work and work. I don't know how they do it. And I'm sorry, but karma is coming. Karma is coming for the corporate overlords, the ones who are not true servers of humanity. They are stuck up in their ways of doing things. They're not very conscious-oriented people. They don't realize that they're enslaving people whose minds are so free. You know, us artists and us esotericists and us people who know that there's so much more to life. They're holding us down. They're holding us down. People who would belong, you know, in the brotherhoods and the secret orders and such, who could potentially be some of the best servitors for humanity and for consciousness as a whole, and raising the vibrational frequency on this planet. There's so much we could be offering the world in service, but it's done in this really not righteous way. The control system is bad. We have it pretty good here in the United States. You know, this is a great country. It's one of the safest places in the world, but we also have a lot of work to do. You know, a lot of people just want to say, oh, it could be worse, or, you know, look at other places. Well, while that's true, we have a lot of growing to do. This is supposed to be the new Atlantis. It starts here, and then it promulgates and spreads throughout the rest of the world. There's, you know, through the brotherhoods and all of this stuff that's been the plan. And it seems that somewhere along the way, someone, you know, basically just wanted to corrupt that. And I think that's largely what has been the case, is a lot of institutions and stuff had good intentions in the beginning, and then they ended up getting corrupted by people who were not really on any spiritual path. They're not looking for enlightenment. They're only looking for material gain, and that's it. They don't care about consciousness. They don't care about really anyone else. And, you know, there is a lot to be said about self-preservation. You know, I bring my family and I come first, and my close friends. My circle is close. It will always be that way. But I also have given good energy and helped a lot of people, and it feels good to know that at the end of the day, you know, your spirit has nothing to fear. You've tried so hard. You've come this far. Whoever's watching this now, I know that you're meant to watch this. You're important. And if something in this world is making you feel it's holding you down and it's not helping you grow in a positive way, it's got to go. It's got to go. There's so much out there that seeks to usurp or take away the beauty and the bliss, which is really our inherent right of understanding the mysteries of life through sacred teachings, and being able to meditate and transmute our bodies so that we can overcome this physical realm, and we could incarnate here at will, but we could also manifest heaven here and make a physical heaven, using the principles of the higher, using the higher laws to trump the lower laws. It's the marriage of above and below. It's both. It's celestial, but it's also a physical kingdom too, a fruitful kingdom of righteousness. The new Israel, as they say, it's the new temple of God, the new kingdom of man. It's really not man's kingdom, it's the kingdom of the angels and supreme source. And any of you who have done extensive ceremonial magic have probably gotten to the point where you have risen to those places in the abodes of the celestial hierarchies, and you've witnessed this bliss and this peace, and you know that you're connected to this and that you have nothing to fear, for your spirit has been working very hard. And for that, I applaud you. Any of you, I'm sure there's a reason you're on this channel, because this is really specific, unique information. Oh, and by the way, I also got a new video camera. So hopefully soon, when I get some time in between the baby and house life and work and all that, time's been limited. But I did get a new video camera, and I tried recording it the other day with the microphone on top of it, and it was really quiet. So we're gonna have to do some other tests to make sure that the videos record loud enough first, and then we'll be recording with that. It'll be better video quality, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me better now that we have a microphone. But for now, it's still just my video, or I'm sorry, it's still just my phone recording videos. I'll also have to figure out, you have to use a SIM card to upload the video onto the computer before you load it onto YouTube too. So there's still quite a bit of things I have to figure out and make sure it's going to work for sure before I start using the video camera for videos. My pentagram got flipped around. So I think I've vented enough in the beginning of this video, and there's still probably a little more to come, but the topic that I really want to get into is the war between the masculine and the feminine. Ooh, this is gonna probably not for people on my channel that normally watch my stuff. This is, you're probably not gonna disagree with me too much on a lot of things, but there are some things that, are sensitive subjects, and I just want anyone to know that I'm not trying to hurt feelings on here. We're just trying to talk about natural, hermetic principles and things about life. And yeah, life seems to be a lot of chaos. Not to get sidetracked again, but for me, it's just the world's kind of messy. And if you have a clean room, if you have a clean space, and you've picked up everything, and you've meditated in a room, and you've done an LBRP, you know what perfect order feels like. That is what order is. It's the ability for the energy to flow around the room freely. There's not a whole bunch of things distracting you. Everything's put up and it's put away in the accorded place that it needs to be in your room or wherever it is that you do your practices, your studies. Because a cluttered space represents a cluttered mind. And I'm one of those people, I don't like to proceed forward in any task or any undertaking until I know that I've covered all my bases. We've squared everything. We're working from the ground up. We've got a good foundation. So even just small things like, messes and stuff like that, messy spaces, and it can be quite a challenge. I'm looking around the room here. This room's not too bad, but some of the other rooms, we have 3 kids here with us, so it's a lot. Yeah, those of you who have children know what it's like. I always, I kind of have always been the lone wolf, and I lived at my parents', and that's where I was in my previous videos. That if you watch my earlier YouTube videos, that's where I was at. And my room was always perfectly ordered. Everything was perfectly clean. Like, I vacuumed the floor probably twice a week, at least, if not at least once a week. I was very on top of things, and I knew that every time I went forward in life to do a task or anything else, everything was squared away, and I was ready to go. I had no mess, no nothing to worry about, nothing pulling me back. I was ready and squared and ready to go. I don't know why I felt compelled to say that, but that's something that's on my mind a lot. I spend all day at Kroger, picking up after people, and, just even keeping a store clean or something like that's hard enough. So really the key to human evolution is not about creating all these buildings and more space. It's really about taking care of and refining and cleansing what we have. And then we can move forward or in any direction on the chessboard that we want to in a conscious manner. Okay, so getting back to the original topic, masculinity versus the masculine versus the feminine. Both the sacred masculine and feminine and the not so masculine and feminine. So I don't even know where to really get started on this. I wish I had a lighter back here. I would definitely burn some of this sage that I've got right now, but do I have one in my pocket? Oh, look at that. I got my lighter from work. It's still in my pocket. So most of us on this channel know what you also know what toxic masculine and feminine are, but you also know what the sacred masculine and feminine are. And ever since I was young, I've always noticed that, I'm sure some of you can resonate with this, it seems like those who were good would always kind of seem to come in last. What do I mean by that? It means that there are so many bad men out there, and I'm speaking, on behalf of men, that we need to up our game, because there's a lot of POSs out there. There really are a lot of POSs out there. They're just not good people. And they just take and take and take, and they've left so much karma in the wake of their earthly existence that I feel sorry for them to know what's coming next for them. To think that me and you and all of us like-minded people are working so hard on our spiritual paths. I try not to focus on that energy too much, because we really need to rise above it and transcend it. That's what it is really about, is transcendence. We're trying to transcend those things. But we can't just ignore them like it tells us in the New Age community a lot. We have to acknowledge these things so we can transmute and fix them. There must be some kind of order to all this chaos that, and sometimes I see too much order, or I guess I don't think there's ever any such thing as too much order. It's that it's not really righteous order. A lot of people will just try to control things only and not really look at what's benevolent and right for, things to truly be, and so that they're in a flow. I kind of lost my track of thought, but again, we were talking about toxic masculinity in particular, and it's something that I've seen a lot of more in the past couple of years, or at least have heard about, I hear about women that try to even just go on dates with men, or not even that, they're just friends with them, and these men are totally gross. They're just total vile pig, profane, disgusting, would never be allowed in the inner sanctum or the inner door. They would always be cast out until they change their ways permanently. But we see a lot of that in our society, and as a result of that, I think there's even a touch of draconian DNA that has something to do with that. That's not something I'm really going to get into right now, but I've had multiple accounts of different women telling me that the men that they were with that were toxic were reptilian, to a degree, and that's more of the conspiracy theory stuff side of things. I don't focus too much on the reptilians. There's different perspectives on that. From what I understand, it's more of like a virus in the Matrix. The reptilians are a virus, and you're going to view that thing from different perspectives. But that's not all reptilians. The serpent energy, not only the Kundalini, but draconian energy in general, is not a bad thing. Not at all. There's good reptilian energy and there's bad reptilian energy. I have always felt a strong resonance with the serpent energy. I've always been drawn to snakes. Slytherin would definitely be my Hogwarts house if I was in one of the houses there. Jesus even said, "Be as wise as serpents." So that was just a side thing I wanted to throw, but we're talking about bad reptilian energy with these people in specific that I'm talking about. And there's at least 3 people I know that have mentioned something about that, the shape-shifting with these men, and that's really interesting. But to move on, this in turn has caused a lot of women to hate men, which I don't blame them. And maybe they don't hate all men, but they've definitely been affected by these bad experiences. And that's where it comes into, we can't blame all men, because there's a lot of bad men out there, it seems like. It's sad that the standards are so low. You know, we should seek to heighten the standards. We want to be good people. We want to be good for our women. We don't want them to be ashamed or to feel bad or feel sad or hurt in any way. But I do see a lot of women just hating on men in general, and they'll often say a lot of side things. And a lot of us good men take I'm trying to figure out how I want to say it. It's like we take the bad end of the stick. It's like we've been dealt the bad card, and it's like we are getting a lot of that hate. And I've always tried to have manners and be cordial and be really chivalric in a way with women. When I was younger, of course, you know, we're all teenagers. I've been through that phase, though. I'm 31 years old now. It's like we should know, you know, from a pretty young age, men should try to mature quicker in a lot of ways and, you know, realize how people need to be treated. And that some jokes are inappropriate. And then the more you get into your spiritual studies and your spiritual practices, how we're all really connected anyway, if you hurt one, you're hurting all. So yeah, in a sense, it's caused a lot of women to not like men, and vice versa. You know, it's not just one sex or the other, and that's really what's bothering me, is this men-hating culture and this women-hating culture. We used to see a lot of more women hating in earlier days. Still happens. But nowadays, women are definitely more empowered than they were, say, 30, 40 years ago, definitely, in general, which is great. But there's also this dark feminine force rising that just is not sacred. I couldn't tell you exactly. I can't pinpoint it. It's just something that's not right. It's trying to be too free and in the wrong way. And I don't even really know how to describe how I'm saying that, but I think those of you who know kind of along the tracks of what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. It's almost such a, I'm trying to pick good terminology here to use. I'm like racking all the words in my brain that I could use as a word for this. I hate to use the word promiscuousness, but there's always a healthy balance. We shouldn't be too limiting on ourselves, and we shouldn't be too open that we're just sharing our energy with everything and everyone. It comes back to that whole free love or share the love thing that I was telling you about. We need to be smart in these things. We know on a spiritual level, when you have sexual intercourse with others and such, how you share energy. You share DNA, and you are actually sharing that trauma energy and stuff. If you have not transmuted it properly yourself, it's being seeped into your partner. And even on a smaller level, just in everyday interactions and such, when you shake somebody's hand, etc., you're taking on some of that energy. I'm busy right now. Excuse me for that. Where was I going with that? Oh, the toxic feminine, that which is not, it's going towards something dark, and not the good kind of dark, because we've talked on this channel a lot about how dark is not always a bad thing. It's just, in fact, darkness is just a lot of the times that which we cannot even perceive. It's light which is even beyond. It's an ultraviolet light and such. But it's kind of just this, it's almost this false new agey type of feminine that's like overly, it's not, and it's not always a love from the heart. It's a love, it's like a lustful kind of thing. And even me, I've been kind of attacked in a way by some of these people, psychically, definitely. Not even like, I just don't think they care for me, because they know how serious I am about the esoteric and stuff like that. And to a lot of people, it's a game. It's like a fad. And I see women not treating their men right. So you need to remember on both ends, men and women, and everything in between. It doesn't matter. Everything's degrees. There's a spectrum. I don't care what you are. I don't care if you're homosexual, bisexual, straight. If you're in a relationship, you know, you have to be sure with your partner about what it is that you expect and what you want, and you have to be willing to accept them for who they are. That's not what I'm talking about. Overall, we should have tolerance for all of these different things. I have, of course, my own personal opinions about some things. We're not going to get into that too much. That's getting into like a whole other topic, and that's not what I cover on this channel. I'm not into politics or those kinds of things. But what I was getting at about some women making their men feel uncomfortable, or at least if I were in the relationship, I would not be comfortable. I would be very uncomfortable. If the things that I see said are said, that would be a no-go for me. And I'm a pretty understanding person. I'm pretty open-minded, if you can't tell from this channel. I study lots of different things. I know lots of different people. I've met people from all different walks of life, from the smiling hippies at festivals to the most serious and stern of the servers of humanity, and everything in between, the good and the bad. So we've come across it all. And then also vice versa. Men, of course, who do not treat their women right. So it's really, on one level, it comes down to morals and principles. And really just ending this war on the sexes. And realizing that it comes down to individual merit. It doesn't matter what your sex is or your race or any of that shit. Sorry, pardon my French. But it comes down to who you are as a person. What have you done? What have you done to make this world a better place? Are you leaving it? Have you left more karmic baggage, and just, did you hurt people while you were here? Did you do bad things? Or did you show people light? Are you showing people light? Have you done productive things for yourself, for the world? Are you an artist? Do you like to create? Or did you spend that time trying to conquer and hurt and falsely lead people? People who, whoever it is that's running these corporations and stuff, who really just the control system, I can't seem to really pinpoint where, how it's all going on. They talk about the 13 bloodlines and stuff like that. I hate using the term Illuminati because I think about Adam Weishaupt's Illuminati, Bavarian Illuminati in the 1700s. And of course, I'm sure that's gone on in certain forms or in one way or another in the present. There's a book called Illuminatium, too, or something like that, and they claim to be the Illuminati that exists now. It just means illuminated ones. So really, any of you who are on this channel and are heavily into this stuff, I consider you Illuminati. So you're way more illuminated than any corporate leader who doesn't give a fuck about spirituality, who doesn't give a shit about consciousness. They really don't deserve to be in that. I mean, if they're a benevolent person, if they're really trying to do good, and they don't know any better, that's one thing. But I think a lot of these people know that they're just trying to control humanity in a way that's not helping them evolve or grow. And like I said before, limit is a factor that we need. We need things to be restrained. We need things to be controlled and confined sometimes, because sometimes things get out of hand if that cutting down force of Saturn is not being balanced with the abundance of Jupiter. If it's only Jupiter energy all the time and abundance and abundance and abundance, you'll have too much, and then you'll perish and end because there's too much going on. It just gets overwhelmed, overpopulation. That's just one example. There has to be like some kind of death to keep the cycle going. It's all part of the wheel of samsara, and there are ways to break the wheel of samsara. If you are interested in transcending the wheel and getting out of the here, Damien Eccles talks a bit about that. For me, since my time's been more limited, I've just been trying to get in the LBRP and the middle pillar whenever I can, and I hope and really know that the divine source knows my efforts. It is my own highest self, after all. It is your own highest self. It's all our own highest self. And getting back to the whole masculine and feminine thing, again, real quick, we won't go too much longer in this video, but source is above that. It's above duality. It doesn't care. It's not just man or woman, or it's the most archetypal masculine and feminine energies, and then even beyond that, Kether, which is above Hokmah and Bina. And then even beyond that is the Ein Sof, or limitless light, the Ein Sof, the limitless all, which I see personified, symbolized as a dragon of white light. And then the Ein, which is all potentiality, all unmanifested potentiality. That which has been manifested in this cosmos is but a blip of all created manifested reality. It is all potential that has not even been manifested yet, or that could be manifested. The Ein, that is something that we could get into, just the Ein, like a whole video just on that. The way that I've written about it in my book is probably my book, Freemasonry and Ceremonial Magic, which I'd like to get back into as well. There's just so many projects going on all the time. That's why this whole work thing, the whole grind, 9 to 5 kind of stuff. I do 6 to 2, 6 a.m. to 2, but that everyone's doing is just, it's holding us back. We need to be able to serve humanity and keep things going, like food and water and shelter, but we also need to be evolving as well. Otherwise, there's no point in physical existence if we're not learning and growing. So while we need to keep the ground floor going in a way that's efficient, and it's not taking up too much of our time, and we're not spread so thin on our resources. Why are we moving food 100 different times? It goes from where it's grown to a warehouse, to the store, to the shelf, to the shopping cart, wherever else. Goes through the check lane, and then it goes home. If you do online shopping, you have online shoppers like myself that pick the groceries. So it's just so much movement of things all the time. And if humanity just learned to slow down, man. That's like some Cheech and Chong stuff right there. But yeah, it's for real though. We just need to chill and slow down and become more conscious of our movements, become more conscious of why we do the things we do. So I think I pretty much have covered everything I wanted to in this video. I may have missed one or two things. We talked about masculine and feminine a little bit, about the war on that and how it needs to stop. It's more about how an individual acts, regardless of what their sex is or race, whatever, all that stuff. It's the individual merits of each soul. What is that soul doing for this existence? Oh yeah, one more thing I was going to mention. A healthy hobby for me. That's my glasses case. I don't know why I grabbed that. I was playing with that a little bit. It's a nice one. Tommy Bahama. I guess that must be a good brand. But a good hobby for me that I picked back up on is video games. I got the Elden Ring, and I know all of you love lore on this channel a whole lot. That game is filled with lore, so I'm excited to watch more YouTube videos and learn more lore. And it's been a fun game. It's been a long time since I have had a new game. I think really Skyrim and a couple others, maybe Halo 5 was, and those both came out like a decade ago almost, I feel like now. Skyrim has been 11 years. So I've played games since then, but it's been me going back and like replaying old games that I played over and over and over. So to have something new and fresh has actually, it's been nice. It's taken my mind off a lot of stress and other things, and it's been a healthy outlet. So if you're on this channel, if you're watching this video, and you feel like you need something like that to just take a break from, sometimes this spiritual journey can be strenuous, and you just need a little break from it. Something like that is nice. It's nice to get away. Now, some people who are really hardcore about this stuff, like I know Damien, he joked once, he's like, video games, that's just another matrix within a matrix. So it's really just further distraction, which is true, but we're here anyway, having this journey, and it seems like this is our dharma to be here. We're not straight up in Kether right now, just being these beings of light, helping things below. We are here. We're like the Marines. We're on the front lines. We're here in the physical plane, really trying to come down here to do some work and make a change and manifest heaven on earth. So if any of you play Elden Ring too, let me know. I do not have Xbox Live anymore though. I don't pay for that. So really waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out, but I hear it might be until 2025. That's just ridiculous. And I'm gonna complain. I know those guys are amazing at what they make. Those games are incredible, but come on, it's been 11 years since Skyrim came out. Stop this Elder Scrolls Online stuff. I'm gonna nerd out for just a second there and be that guy. All right. So, yes, peace and blessings, everyone. I hope you are doing well. I'm almost surprised this video that I went on for this long. It's a 38-minute video. It goes to tell you that if I pick one or two topics and go with it, I can talk for quite a while. That would be my Mercury and Sagittarius right there. Yep, that's why I do well in video format, I think, because I can just ramble and ramble and ramble. So, I love you all. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for bearing with me and sticking with me on this journey. May we go out into the world and do incredible, incredible things and spread peace and order, celestial order and divine providence here on this plane. We can do it. We are a team. Thank you so much. I am Tyler Smith, Occult Perspectives, signing out.